knows? It doesn't really matter. So when we stop the good, bad stuff, we also stop the comparison stuff. We stop the judging. No good, no bad, who knows? See what happens. Which means that we don't have this terrible comparing stuff. And when we compare, it's too often, actually, it's really strange in our modern world, where we have those three conceits. I am better, I am worse, I am the same. It's amazing how many people, they take the I am worse. I'm a failure, I'm no good. And I've said that before, the reason is because we're always so critical. You make a mistake, you always think it's bad. You do something wrong, you think it's bad. You make a wrong choice, you think it's bad. You do so many of those, what you think are bad choices, and you regard them as bad. After a while, you think you're a failure. How many people in this room think they're failing? In their marriage, in their career, in their life? How many people think they're succeeding? How many people think, I don't know? They are the wise ones. Good, bad, who knows? So if you understand that, you never feel bad about yourself. You never have low self-esteem, which is one of the biggest psychological problems of our world today. Because people have low self-esteem, they overreact, trying to be successful, trying to be good, trying to be a great personality, instead of just trying to be themselves. That's me. I don't try to be popular. I don't try to not to be popular. But this is who I am. If you come and see me when I'm not talking, I'm exactly the same. So this is the only reason you can really relax and enjoy yourself. I'm not the best monk in the world. I'm not the worst monk in the world. I'm just Ajahn Brahm. That's all. Good, bad? I don't know. Been trying to find out for years. I don't know. Who knows? Now if you can do that, you can really relax. All low self-esteem disappears. All pride and conceit and trying to prove yourself disappears. You can relax and be yourself. You know, if you relax and be yourself, you're far more successful in life. If you try to be successful, you fail. If you just let go and be yourself, then you're successful. With members of the opposite sex, in your career, in meditation, in everything. Stop trying so hard. Stop trying so hard to be perfect. The last story, because I can see Angie looking at me with that look again. I've known her for many years. It's time for me to stop talking. The last little story is one of my favourite new ones. It is the trees and the forest simile. Because so many people have come up to me. Maybe they haven't found a partner. Maybe they're having difficulty keeping their marriage together. Maybe they haven't been what they think is successful in their career. And they think that there's something wrong with them. Even some people, because of experiences in their childhood, really think they're damaged goods. You heard that phrase before, damaged goods? Maybe abused by your parents. Maybe haven't had a good education. Maybe because of poverty or other reasons, you've had a difficult upbringing. And then I say, we are all damaged goods. And I ask them to go into a forest. Go into a natural forest and find me a perfect tree. A tree which is straight, not bent, not crooked. A tree with every branch equally spaced, with all the leaves green on that tree. Find me a perfect tree in the forest. You'll never find one, except in maybe a rubber plantation in Malaysia. Which is not natural. In a natural forest, you'll only find trees which are bent and crooked, with branches hanging off, with many yellow and brown leaves on, with scars on the bark. That's why the natural forests are beautiful. That's why people like going to have walks in natural forests, where you will never find a perfect tree. Every tree in the natural forests of our world are all damaged goods. So if you have scars and branches hanging off and lots of brown leaves, welcome. You belong to the beautiful forest of nature. There's nothing wrong with you. You belong. We are all damaged goods. Good, bad, at last I know. I am perfect. I can be at ease with myself and just be me. At last, you are content. Thank you for listening. And now comes the interrogation with the Chief Inquisitor, Angie Buxley. You find the mic somewhere. Actually, Angie, while you weren't looking, I hid it so I don't get asked too many hard questions. Oh, you found it again. Oh my goodness.
Did you enjoy that talk? Yes. Let's give a real good round of applause. Thank you.
Was it a good talk? Yes. Oh, come on. Who knows?
Was it a bad talk? In the midst of all the enjoyment, hopefully some of the wisdom has gone to our head. Because often people read the book or come and listen to Ajahn Brahm's talk and they say, oh yeah, same old stories. But how often when we get in trouble in life, when we're in pain mentally, that we remember which story to apply to our lives. So we may have all heard it here, but it's so important that the stories come down to our hearts and actually applied in our life to relieve our own pain and sorrow. Now, Ajahn Brahm talked about damaged goods. We're all damaged goods. I also believe when you have teenage children, we're all damaged parents too. So Ajahn Brahm, could you give some advice to parents who are often challenged in bringing up children, especially when they get to become a teenager? Because sometimes good, bad, who knows, and you're always so worried whether you have raised the children right and give them the best chances and support in life.
Well, with raising children, I like to give the simile of the gardener. Because sometimes there are wonderful gardeners who are so brilliant and skillful, but sometimes they have a bad seed. And even the best gardeners can't make a bad seed into a beautiful flower or tree. And sometimes there's incompetent gardeners. They have such an incredibly powerful seed, that seed will grow into a beautiful flower anyway. So please know, it's not just your skill as a gardener, as a parent. That is not the only thing which will make a good child, or the lack of skill make a bad child. It's know where that child comes from, the seed you're working with. So don't always be down on yourself. Oh, I'm terrible. My child got into trouble with drugs. Oh, they got pregnant when they were young. I must be a bad parent. That's not always the case. Because I know some amazing parents, but sometimes they get a child who ends up in jail. There's nothing wrong with the parents. It was a seed. And of course, no parent is perfect. They don't have to be perfect. Always think good, bad, who knows. You try your very best. And as long as this one monk once told me this, Venerable Poliko in Sri Lanka, he said, as long as when you go to sleep at night, you tried your very best. You don't have to be perfect, but you tried your very best in a situation and circumstances you faced. You can have a very peaceful sleep. You can't do more than your best. Unfortunately, sometimes we think we have to do more than our best. So, this is basic Buddhism, Four Noble Truths. In brief, all suffering is asking from this world what it can't give you. You can't all have perfect kids. You can't all have kids who go to university. You can't all have kids above average intelligence. Half of your kids will be below average intelligence. They have to be. So when you actually understand what the world can give, and you work within those limits, then you never have to feel you're a failure. And even if you do make mistakes, is there anyone in this room who hasn't made mistakes? If you put your hand up, That's another mistake.
I would say that we are the experiments of our parents, and our children are our experiments, because we've never been a parent before until they're born.
Indeed. I've never been a parent at all, but I give advice how to raise your kids.
That's because you can be impartial.
Yeah, but it's also, I was born in the year of the rabbit. And rabbits are known for having many children. And so I said that to someone recently and said, yes, you have many children. Not biological children, but spiritual children. That's very nice. So I have lots of, maybe because I've been born in the year of the rabbit, you have many disciples, my spiritual children. And sometimes some of you have turned out very well, some of you have turned out hopeless. It's all good, bad, who knows?
But Ajahn Brahm still has compassion for all of us,
Yeah,
so
indeed,
that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Love you all. The door of my heart is open even to the hopeless ones.
So Ajahn Brahm, let me just shift gears. Some of us got into relationships and may have found that the partner is cheating on us, or things are not working out well. That also makes us feel like a failure. I mean, what do you provide as advice that yet another experiment in our lives goes wrong?
It doesn't go wrong. It's good, bad, who knows? Is it bad when you find that your partner is cheating on you? It's like a cancer. It's a huge challenge to you. And I'd say this, one example, there's a couple who come to my monastery every week to offer food. And it's only after many years ago they came to see me. She had found that her husband, because she checked some receipts, was visiting the brothel once a week, visiting prostitutes. And that's even like worse, she said, than having a relationship with another girl, just having paid sex. And she was so upset, and so, not just upset, but felt so hurt inside. And basically she was wanting to get divorced. But I convinced the both of them to actually, let's go back to the basics. You still care about each other, at least you did before. And can you actually make this work? First of all, he had to ask forgiveness, and real sincere forgiveness. And as for her, I said, you can't trust him yet. So give him parole for 1 year. And the parole is like where you test a prisoner, you let them out into the community to see how they can cope living out of prison. And if they make one mistake, they go back into jail again. So I say, be fair to your partner. I think he really, really wants to try and make amends and make it work. Give him parole for 1 year, which she did. And he lived up to her trust. And now I see them every Monday. They come to Bodhinyana Monastery without fail and just see how close their relationship is. They've made it work, and their relationship, because it's gone through fire, is really, really strong now. So sometimes, when those things happen, sometimes you say, is it bad? For them, it was actually good. It really brought them closer together to understand and care for each other much, much more. It can work, but sometimes it can't. And if it doesn't work and the relationship ends, don't think, oh, it's bad, the relationship has ended. Forward failing. Learn from it. And don't just give up just because you're 30, you're 40, you're 50 or whatever. Just know the relationships get different as you get older. And sometimes, they become more spiritual when you get older, rather than more sexual, more just into physical things. It becomes more that you want a sort of a spiritual partner to share your life with. Not so much sex and getting on in the world, but more sort of understanding each other, caring for each other, just someone who just basically loves you and cares for you, can embrace you. So there's always amazing things happen in life. There's a separation there, there's a divorce, but it's not bad. Sometimes it opens another door, another chapter in your life. And please also never blame anybody. Never think it's his fault, or it's my fault, or it's her fault. It's the blame game which causes the suffering in separations. It's impermanent. Some things last, some things don't last. You're giving it your very best, it didn't work out. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame your partner. It's just nature, anicca, the Buddhist teaching, impermanence. You give it your best, that's all you can do. And afterwards, please appreciate all the wonderful times you had with your partner. It's separated now, it's over. But now we remember not just the things which cause a separation. Remember all the happy times you shared together, the wonderful days you had in the sunshine, the beautiful laughter you had together. Remember that. So a relationship enriches you rather than depresses you. And if you can be enriched by the relationship you had, it's much easier to go on to another one and make it even better next time. However, if you remember all the pain, that's all you remember. If you only remember the 2 bad bricks in the wall, you never want to have a relationship again. You're scared. You're afraid of the pain. But if you can see the happiness, the joy, then let's give it another try. Good, bad, who knows? You're adventurous in life. I've told many people, never put your heart in a concrete box. Yeah, you have been hurt, and you want to protect it. But if you put your heart in a concrete box, you're dead. Yeah, you will get hurt. But that's part of love. So even young people, you don't know what love is like. You don't know how to love until your heart has been broken. It's true. So, yeah, it doesn't work out, but don't stop. Carry on living.
Sometimes I hear cases where parents do ask the children for help with money, and the children say, why should I help my parents? They still have their own money. And we often forget that they've been our ATMs the most part of our life before we were able to stand on our own 2 feet. But it's so easy to forget what our parents have done for us. And
until you become a parent yourself, and then it's payback time. It's true, isn't it? I mean, so many people that really appreciate a parent's sacrifice. You know, when they become pregnant, when they give birth, when they have to wake up all hours of the night and looking after this little being coming into the world, worrying about them, you know, trying to sort of help them out. That's when you realise, you know, the value of a parent, when you're a parent yourself. And so a lot of people I know, that as soon as they have their own children, then they really do respect their parents. It's tough being a parent. Especially, you know, you've got much more help these days in Singapore. Your parents did it much tougher. So please remember that. And then it's so nice to be kind to your parents. But the parents, the old people here, remember, please be kind to your kids. If they help you, please say thank you. Don't take it for granted. Please encourage kindness. Ooh, we're saving electricity.
I would encourage you to bring your parents to listen to Ajahn Brahm's talks or come to Brahm Center for activities. So Ajahn Brahm, I've got another question with you with regards to job security. In today's age, where people get good jobs, but they could never feel the job is secure, because once you don't perform, you're out. So that gives people a lot of sense of insecurity and lack of stability. How do people handle that?
Well, I really don't know, because my job is very secure.
That's because he doesn't get paid. Oh, only with food.
Well, look, sometimes you look at your job, your position in the company, and you learn why it's not secure. Why don't you? Why is not that you think you're not secure. Why is it not secure? You have to obviously perform, and to learn how to perform, you don't have to stress out to perform well. That's why a lot of times I teach people about simple things like meditation. so they can perform really, really well. I remember many people now, especially in places like US, that they put on their CV that they're a meditator. They meditate regularly, and they get preferences in selection. It's a plus in your CV, because everybody knows that you can take more stress than anybody else. No, I'm really serious there. It is showing that you can actually work more efficiently. I don't say harder, but efficiently. You can usually be more productive. So if you want to make yourself more secure in your job, find the skills which you need to improve so that your company would not want to let you go. So don't just sit there and work hard and harder and harder, make yourself so stressed out that you keep failing and making mistakes. Work smart, not hard. Basic thing in Buddhism, wisdom power is always more powerful than willpower. So use wisdom power to make yourself unsackable.
Ajahn Brahm, another question that I have is with regards to illness and death. Many of us have this fear of dying because we don't know what it's going to be like. And this doesn't only apply to old people, it applies to even young people that feel that, hey, you know, when they look at obituary pages, there are always young people dying as well. It could be me next. Could you provide some advice on that?
Okay. First of all, I look in this hall. How many people in this hall tonight? Is it
1,000?
It's a quick calculation. That means about 12 of you will be dead by this time next year. That's just basic statistics. Probability.
Maybe we got good karma, so we won't be dead.
No. Even people with good karma die. So my next question is, which 12 is it? And don't just look at the old people.
Imagine you say that, and what happens if some Buddhists start releasing animals in the sea because they want to extend their own lives?
That doesn't work. Especially in West Australia, if you release animals in the sea, you get eaten by sharks.
There are no sharks off the shores of Singapore. But seriously, there are teachings of certain Buddhist groups that go release animals so it prolongs your life. So I'm not sure whether you love the animals or actually doing it because you love yourself.
Well, first of all, you all know if you release animals, you've got to make sure